Hi there, Zam here for NerdTube. These are my thoughts and spoilers of Reacher Season 1 on Amazon Prime. So I just finished binge watching the show over the course of 2 days and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now we've all seen the films with Tom Cruise, and even though they were good movies, unfortunately Tom Cruise was just too short to be playing Jack Reacher. In the books, Reacher is about 6'5" and built like a brick shithouse, and Alan Ritchson happens to be 6'5" and built like a brick shithouse. And it's really good to see him play somebody totally different to Hawk, even though maybe in their fight skills they're quite similar, but they're both badasses in that sense. When I say Hawk, I do mean from Titans on HBO Max. Jack Reacher happens to be a far more intelligent man than Hawk would ever be. Jack Reacher is basically a jacked up version of Sherlock Holmes, and we see his cogs turning and him basically figuring things out on a whim just by revelations being revealed to him, and I fucking loved it. Made a lot of sense, and he was never intimidated by any bad guy he came across. He was able to make them know that he knows what they know about him, and I really loved that because then he got the bad guys thinking and wondering what the fuck should we do next because he knows what we're about to do, and I love all those sort of things. Jack Reacher was portraying in this. We get costume changes from Jack Reacher as well. He's changing his clothes in almost every episode. I think that's giving us an excuse to see this guy's amazing physique. But there's a variety of reasons why his clothes are being changed, because he smells a bit funny in some clothes. Sometimes his clothes get wet, so he needs to change his clothes for that reason. He might need to be in a more tactical gear, so he changes his clothes for that reason. He might have to be in disguise, so he changes his clothes for that reason. He's always changing his clothes at least once every episode. And because this is Jack Reacher, it's really good that he's also figuring things out, but we do need some badass action scenes, and we get that too. We see him kicking ass in several episodes, doing the sort of thing you expect from Jack Reacher, where he's able to fuck over a handful of people by himself because he is fucking Jack Reacher. And we kind of saw that obviously by Tom Cruise, and so we get this sort of portrayal of him in this show as well from Alan Ritchson. And we also get some other interesting characters too, like Malcolm Goodwin, who plays Finley, and Finley's a bit like a like Sidney Poitier, that's the sort of portrayal I feel like he was giving. He's a cop from out of town who's working in this small village, basically just trying to get away from his old life. We have Willa Fitzgerald, who's also another cop who happens to be kind of like the love interest for Jack Reacher whilst he's in this town. We have Bruce McGill, who's like an evil version of Colonel Sanders. We have Maxwell Jenkins, who was playing uh, Will Robinson in the Lost in Space series on Netflix. Yeah, he plays a young Jack Reacher, and it's really good to see some of these flashbacks, even though I didn't think they were necessary. But we kind of got an idea that even though Jack Reacher was very smart as a kid, and he was also very strong as a kid, he made sure that he went down the right path. He could have used his skills to be a very fucked up person because, like I said before, he's smart and strong. But he made sure he went down the right path to be a good guy, and some of that is because of his mum as well. Um, Jack Reacher comes to this town because a lot of people are being bumped off. He's trying to solve some of these murders. Initially, people think that he's the person doing all the killing, but one of the people who's been killed happens to be his brother, so it becomes kind of personal for him as well. Reason why a lot of these people are being bumped off is to do with a counterfeit cash operation happening in this town. In this town, they are able to print $100 bills on old $1 bills by bleaching the $1 bills of all their ink, so they just end up being plain paper, and then printing $100 bill on them instead, because $1 and $100 bills are the same size. I think the American currency is kind of stupid like that. But yeah, it really always boils down to cash. Something mentioned very early on in this series. Regardless of what's happening, everything really boils down to money, and is so true. Now, I do recommend this show if you want to watch something that is familiar as well as different to what we're getting out there, because we all know about Jack Reacher because of Tom Cruise. So you will get into sort of familiar territory with this show as well, but it's far different to some of the superhero fare we've been getting recently as well. This is more of a who's done it, and I very much appreciated trying to figure out why all these killings are happening, who's been doing all these killings, and once the revelation happened, I was satisfied because whilst watching these episodes, I was thinking to myself, damn, this is going to be really hard to explain, and I won't be necessarily explaining it anyway, but I will say that you will understand what the fuck's going on eventually, even though there's so much information coming at you from every fucking direction. It does make sense in the end, and that's down to good writing and good acting. So I do recommend Reacher season 1 on Amazon Prime. It's a good show, well acted, good characters, and you will have a good time with it. As I said earlier, these are my thoughts and spoilers, so if I have spoiled it for you, I do apologise, but it does say that on the tin regarding this particular video. But yes, go out and watch Reacher season 1. I do recommend it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube. We are the greatest YouTube channel you never heard of, and don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you think of this show. Take care. Bye bye.